Okay. This is very interesting. So maybe I'm late to the party. I forgot to update my email on the website, but I just learned that they are turning Harry Potter into a TV show. It looks like there are 10 seasons that have currently been paid for, and every episode has a budget of $100 million, something like that. I might be getting my numbers off, but they have a website. So it's like harrypotter.org. You can sign up on the website to learn all things about the, current making of the film, whatever. Here's the thing. I didn't realize how important Harry Potter would be in my life, but then like a couple of different things happened. The first thing was the Harry Potter box. Now, the Harry Potter box was this elementary school pet art project, right? Where there was this whole book where we went through like character arcs and all of these things. But then when I went to art school, like high school, I'm talking about, I didn't realize how that was like actually one of the best projects I ever did. Like I look back at stuff I did in art school and it wasn't as good as the Harry Potter project. So when I moved out of my parents' house, I was like, oh, I want my Harry Potter box because I want to like go over it. I don't know what my mother did with the actual Harry Potter binder because I don't have it and she never gave it to me. So I think she took it. She probably sold it. She does shit like that. She's very strange. But there's that box. But then also, when I went to London, they actually have an Ollivander store and an entire street that is like dedicated to all things Harry Potter. When I was in Scotland, in Edinburgh, they also have quite a lot of like Harry Potter memorandum and a whole tour you can take. But then I gotta say, like, I did quite a lot of like self-actualization in terms of understanding race and society. And that is why I walk around with the Slytherin sweatshirt. Um, Slytherin, so there's 4 houses in Harry Potter, right? I gotta find some, like, black representation for Ravenclaw and Hufflepuff, which are 2 houses, but Jaden Smith is a Gryffindor, okay? Like, Harry Potter was also a Gryffindor. Even though the Sorting Hat did say that Harry would do well in Slytherin, he chose to go to Gryffindor. But unlike Jaden, I am a Slytherin. So there's a couple reasons why I identify as Slytherin, but the primary reason I identify as Slytherin is because Slytherin is the house that believes in this idea of pure blood. It basically does not believe in racial mixing. That's kind of the really meta idea. It's about I mean, obviously, like, Harry Potter is about magic and about, like, Muggles versus, like, people who were born into, um, being of magic, like, how do you say? Of magic blood, basically, like, their parents are also wizards, but Harry has one parent who is, like, a Muggle, and then one was or both was that Hermione? I think Hermione is the one with, like, a Muggle parent or something like that. Anyway, not the point. There's all of these lessons though in the 7 books, right? Or 8 books they really unpack like society in terms of like cultural anthropology. So how groups that have these really extreme ideas interact with each other, right? Like Malfoy, who's like he's kinda like, Nick Fuentes, right? Except, I mean, Nick Fuentes actually isn't, like, mean like Malfoy, he holds beliefs that are kinda, like, similar. And then there's, like, me, right? So I'm not saying I'm Nick Fuentes because obviously I'm Black, um, but some could argue that my racial, beliefs tend to lean toward Black supremacy. That's a real thing, right? There's like white supremacy over here and there's Black supremacy over here. They're different concepts. Everything has, and history is long, right? The really ironic thing about this for me, like listening to the conversation yesterday from those Cartier twins, it was just so sad. Like, it's like the American system has failed you so awfully. Your parents have failed you so miserably. the black men in your life have just let you down. It's like everyone has failed you and they just get online and have millions of followers. It's just the whole thing is just so pathetic. Like you should be so much better. Like you have the internet and you still don't you couldn't even do a micro search to understand anything about your lineage. Just and they just keep going. It's, like, ridiculous. You just hear it over and over. It's the most pathetic thing I've ever seen. We're gonna have so much content from that top. They're just watching their faces, they were, like, stone cold. It was almost like, um, there's what is it? It's like a potion that Hermione uses. It's like the stunt potion where I think if you, like, give the person the potion, then they're like that's literally how the card hurts. Actually, maybe I'll make that the thumbnail for this. It's their faces when they, like, hear what he said. It was exactly like the stupefy, the trick in Harry Potter. Like, Harry Potter is such a good example of, like, society. There's also, like, schools. I do think that if you go to certain schools, like, maybe, like, the UCs or, like, Stanford, you could argue that they're very Hogwarts-like. Princeton or Harvard, I also think are similar campuses. But, I mean, maybe if you haven't heard it, go listen to the conversation that we had with Amino. Like, Amino was at Princeton, right? Like, there's quite a lot to unpack on that campus. I hate that campus. Well, you know, they exist, right? Like, I could argue there's probably quite a lot of Ravenclaws at Princeton, mm. Anyway, so the Harry Potter TV show is coming out. I'm excited about that. I think that it will probably help a new generation understand a few more things about society, especially in terms of like cultural anthropology. Like I said, how these groups who really don't like each other, especially when you think about Voldemort and how his entire mission right now is to basically like kill Harry. That was like the whole thing. He's like, I can't exist. Like, and then he's also like, he's a leech, right? Because, like, he split himself into all of these, like, different what are they called? They're not tokens, I'm missing the name for it, but he split himself into, like, 7 different pieces, and every time you kill a piece, a little piece of him dies. I feel like that's kinda like what white supremacy and, like, American capitalism is. It's like every African country that, like, develops and becomes, you know, autonomous, like, in the same way it was Ibrahim Traoré and is it Sierra Leone or whatever the African country is, it's, like, inspiring all these Black Americans. I heard 19 Keys talk about this. And it's like, why would you care what's even happening there anyway? You aren't there. It's like but it's inspiring them, right? It's almost like killing one of Voldemort's little, like, pieces. Yeah, I think it's, like, kinda meta, but I think if you kinda get to the crux of, like, the actual lessons, the moral and ethical lessons that come from Harry Potter, like, one of my favorite is, the Dudleys. Okay, so the Dudleys to me are like Roseanne and Morgan Wallen. That's why I made those 2 essays. Maybe we should actually unpack that specifically more. But, like, Roseanne is like the Dudley mom. Do you see how they're always, like, similar? Like, they're always fat and despicable, and they're, like, very hard to look at, but they exist. Their personalities are larger than their looks, and they have to be. They're, like, vile and repulsive, but they're so present. They physically occupy more space because they have to, like if not, everyone else would repulse and, like, run away from them because they're, like, so unattractive in life. It's like that, like, they have to be that evil. And then, like, they were so evil, they put Harry in a fucking closet in the wall. And that's like I said, if you go back to, like, the history, the very long history of the vile and evil nature of, like, white women in America, it's very much so like that. Like, if you watched, what is it, 12 Years a Slave with Lupita, like, Nyong'o, that one moment when they're, like she snatches the soap away from her, it's like that. Like, you won't even let her wash. That's how, like that's the level of, like, evil, you know? Anyway, the Harry Potter film, the TV show, is going to be very good. So, maybe I mean, I don't know when it's coming out, I think 2027, so that we got a while. It's not like it's gonna be, like, tomorrow, but, you know, really excited to unpack it when it does come out. And so, yeah, I just wanted to make that kinda, like, PSA, right?